For nearly 3,000 years. For nearly 3,000 years, the Iliad has been read as the greatest war story ever written. A tale of wrath, of glory, of heroes dying young on the plains of Troy. It has been taught in schools, translated into hundreds of languages, and studied by the greatest minds in Western civilization. And almost all of them missed the point, because the Iliad is not a war story. It never was. Homer was not a poet in the way we understand the word today. He was an initiate, a master of the ancient mystery tradition that understood the human soul, its structure, its conflicts, its journey, with a precision that modern psychology is only beginning to rediscover. And he encoded everything he knew into a single epic poem, hidden in plain sight, for anyone with eyes to see. The battlefield of Troy is not a place in ancient Anatolia. It is the interior landscape of the human soul. Every character in the Iliad, every hero, every god, every king, is a force operating inside you right now. The war has never stopped. It is happening inside you as you listen to these words. At the center of everything is Helen. Helen is not a woman. Helen is the soul itself, the divine spark, the true self that both sides of your inner nature are fighting to possess. The Greeks represent the higher forces within you, the impulse toward transcendence, the drive to reclaim what has been lost. The Trojans represent the constructed self, everything you have built to feel safe and certain in the mortal world. And between these two forces, your soul waits, trapped inside the walls of everything you think you are. Now look at Achilles. Achilles is the most important character in the Iliad because he represents the most powerful force in the human soul, the burning will of the self, pure, magnificent, completely ungovernable. Homer tells us from the very first line that the Iliad is about the wrath of Achilles. Not the fall of Troy, not the death of Hector, the wrath of Achilles. Because the entire journey of the soul begins with this one force refusing to be governed by anything less than the divine. Above the battlefield, the gods watch. The gods do not represent external divine beings interfering in human affairs. They represent the archetypal forces operating within the human psyche. Athena, strategic intelligence. Ares, blind, destructive aggression. Apollo, divine order and higher knowing. Aphrodite, the force of desire that initiates the entire conflict. Poseidon, the deep unconscious forces that move beneath the surface of everything. When the gods fight each other on the plains of Troy, your own inner forces are at war. Homer mapped the complete structure of human consciousness onto the divine hierarchy of Olympus. 3,000 years before Freud, 3,000 years before Jung, Homer had already drawn the complete map. And then there is Troy itself. Troy is the constructed self. Everything you have built, your identity, your certainty, your comfortable understanding of who you are. It is beautiful, it is defended, it feels permanent, and it must fall, not because it is evil, but because no constructed identity, however noble, can contain the full truth of what you are. Troy must burn so that something real can emerge from the ashes. The instrument of Troy's fall is the most famous symbol in Western literature, the Trojan Horse. This is not a military trick. This is the precise description of how transformation actually works. It does not arrive as an obvious threat. It arrives as something you choose to bring inside your own walls. A book, a conversation, an idea, something that seems harmless, even beautiful, until it opens from within and dismantles everything you thought was permanent. Homer structured the Iliad across exactly 24 books, the same number as the letters of the Greek alphabet, in the Pythagorean and Hermetic traditions that Homer drew from. 24 represents the complete cycle of manifestation. The full journey of consciousness from divine origin through material experience and back to its source. The poem is not just a story with symbolic meaning. It is a precisely engineered map of consciousness. When you read the Iliad, truly read it, you are not reading about ancient Greeks. You are reading about yourself. Your Achilles is the part of you that burns with a sense of destiny, but refuses to submit to anything less than what it truly deserves. Your Hector is the part of you that defends what you have built, nobly, bravely, even when you know it cannot last. Your Helen is the soul you have lost contact with, the true self waiting behind the walls of everything you have constructed around it. And your Troy is everything that must eventually fall, so that you can finally go home. The Iliad is only the first half of Homer's complete initiatic map. It is all in the book, Homer, the Iliad Decoded. Long, difficult journey of the awakened self trying to find its W. It is all in the book, Homer, the Iliad Decoded.